Hey everyone, Dylan from Neo News today. We're at day 2 of Consensus in Hong Kong. We're having our first interview of the day with Tyler Adams, the CEO of COZ. How are you doing today, Tyler?
Pretty good. I'm well rested. I haven't really had a chance to walk around today, but it's good. There's a lot of energy here, so that's always nice to see.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that is noticeable at the Neo booth this year is we're showcasing a lot of Neo X projects. So COZ isn't necessarily at the booth showing off its wares. So what's kind of like your footprint at the event like?
Yeah, so we're doing some general booth support just because we provide support and infrastructure for these types of activations and events, but a lot of what we're doing here is deal flow. We're talking to new projects, we're talking to teams, trying to engage them in like the Neo ecosystem, specifically through our products, like trying to really get drive some adoption, I think, from the projects that do also have booths here.
Yeah.
So it's been nice, kind of like I think like an away team.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to see you guys come here and provide some support, but then also go out and do deal flow. So in general, what's your vibe of Consensus Hong Kong? How is this different from any of the other events? I think this is also our 4th year in a row doing an interview at Consensus.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that it's earlier in the day. Typically we're doing it at the end, there's nobody here, everybody's cleaning up, everybody's exhausted. This has been a surprising conference for me. I wasn't really sure what to expect. Some of our contacts were indicating that the ticketing was going really well, the sponsorship for the event and the experience was going really well. My understanding is that they smashed their numbers for attendance. I think 6,000 for this initial one, since it's the first year Hong Kong was the target. I'm hearing numbers like 7,000 to 8,000 people here, which is pretty substantial. The other thing to comment on is just the energy level here. It's really high. The sentiment is it's really positive. People seem to be very excited to be here at this conference, and we're right next to one of the main stages, and you can hear that in the people that are presenting as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're here on behalf of COZ. I think kind of the major news break this week was that COZ integrated on and off-ramp payments. So what are some of the new things that have been added to Neon Wallet, and what are some of the things that you're proud to go out and start talking to people about?
Yeah, so yesterday we did the formal release, and coincidentally, we're in Hong Kong, and the big news on Neon Wallet was introducing ramps for the US. And in this initial release, we'll be supporting a lot of different tokens for Neo. People can use the ramp in combination with the swaps, and it's kind of a preview of what that looks like to natively onboard into the ecosystem using fiat. And then in addition to that, we're also releasing Ledger Nano X support for the mobile wallet, so you can use the Bluetooth interface to tap scan.
Cool.
And you can also use it's called an OTG cable to use a Nano S to connect it to like a phone or a tablet to also execute transactions using the wallet, which has kind of a nice like air-gapped type of opportunity for people, right? Where you can have the wallet installed and never connect it unless you want to actually execute something on chain. It's kind of neat.
That has always been kind of like what blew my mind, is that as a mobile wallet user, it was almost impossible to use Ledger. And so if that's like your go-to solution for hardware security, it's always been kind of like the missing piece. So do you guys anticipate you'll see an onslaught of new users, or do you just anticipate a lot of current users being excited about the opportunity?
Yeah, so the Ledger support for mobile wallet is one of our most requested features for the mobile wallet. I think a lot of people have been wanting it, they've been asking for it for years. So I don't know that we'll see a lot of new users coming in specifically for that feature, but it's certainly like within our community of users is something that they're looking forward to. I think to me, what I'm excited about as a self-custodial product is that this kind of pushes that bar even further, right? That's also, I think that's a major concern for mobile wallet users in general, right? A lot of people use the mobile wallet for like a hot wallet, right? Or just for watch accounts where they can watch their balances and then they go back to the desktop to sign and execute transactions. So this opens up the opportunity for people to have the watch accounts on their mobile wallet, but then also execute transactions using the mobile wallet. So to your point, like the Ledger users, a lot of people basically do that. Like they have to go back to the desktop wallet if they need to execute something quickly. This provides a little more, I think, autonomy with security. So it's a pretty big deal to me. So we had a pretty feature-packed launch, right, with both of these major product offerings going out at the same time. So we're pretty excited about it. The team worked really hard on it. There's a lot of pressure to get it out specifically for this event, since a lot of that capability is being leveraged for some of the deal flow that we're looking at when we start talking about Neo and getting like listings and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the on-ramps and off-ramps really kind of launched, or soft launched yesterday was the major announcement. Swaps has been live for about a month, maybe a little bit longer now. Are there any insights that you can share about integrating the cross-chain swapping features and maybe something that stood out that you didn't think you would see from the users?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is really workflow. And in Neon, we've changed our approach a little bit. With how we're doing product launches, right? So security is always one of our top priorities. That's why the desktop wallet's open source, right? One of the things that we've been pushing for is kind of this quick release of the primary feature or capabilities and utility, and then we'll look at the way that the users are interacting with it, and we'll collect all the feedback from the community, and then we'll refine that implementation based on what people are actually doing with it and what their behaviors are. So another thing that actually was released yesterday was a feature improvement to the swaps to change the way that some of the fields are organized to improve the user experience based on just testing and feedback that we've seen from the early users.
Yeah. I guess kind of like zooming out, what are some of the things that people can keep an eye for when it comes to swaps? Are you going to be integrating new swapping partners? Are you going to be adding support for new chains? What's kind of like the goal for this year?
Yeah, so those are, that's very timely since after this we'll be locking our roadmap, I think. One of the things that we're going to push on again is this streamlining of these workflows, right? So how can we introduce swapping with ramps to provide a lot more exposure? I think that's going to be one of the big things that we focus on. One of our goals this year as an organization is cross-platform intercepts, so major features across a lot of the products that we're building and how we can integrate those into each other to leverage the technology that we develop. And that's going to be another, I think, another major priority. There are also a number of features that exist in the old wallet still that we haven't fully implemented in Neon 3 that we'll be looking at bringing back, but with kind of with extra capabilities. One of the big ones obviously is like the exporting feature. That's one of like the major things, and I know it's like tax season, and that's like one of the features that's not there right now.
The least sexy feature ever.
Yeah, it's one of the most used features though, and that's going to start hurting people, I think, in the next month as they start to kind of get towards tax day. So yeah, I think some of these things, like these old features coming in, will be kind of the focus. Also looking at, again, finding a bunch of other providers and integrations, and then obviously leveraging the features that we have implemented to push kind of this ecosystem narrative and drive adoption. So I think we've had quite a bit of success at this conference doing that.
Sweet. Well, speaking of, you have a meeting lined up here in a few moments, so we were able to nab a few moments of Tyler's time, so appreciate you keeping us up to date with what's going on with Neon Wallet and sharing what your experience has been like here at Consensus.
Thanks for having me again.
As always, if you guys want to see any of the other interviews we've done at Consensus, head over to the Neo News Today YouTube channel.